Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning on MCC's TV Community Outreach Update Show. I am very pleased to have as our guest today Mr. Edgar Watson, who is an alumni of Muskegon Community College, as well as a member of the MCC Foundation Board. Mr. Watson is also vice chair of the Muskegon Heights Housing Commission and a retired teacher at Muskegon Heights Public School. Well, he's also a husband, a father, and a great cook, and guess what? He's a great singer as well. Uh, Mr. Watson has so graciously agreed to work with us in developing and promoting our month-long Black History programs. Just on Friday, February 5, Mr. Watson was lead vocalist in our first ever community choir held here at MCC. Wow, what a success that was. Well, thank you, Mr. Watson, for being with us this morning. May I call you Edgar?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. Well, in your own words, Mr. Watson, Edgar, can you tell me what exactly is Black History Month mean to you?
Well, Black History Month means so much to me. The way I look at it, and it's not just only this month, but I study Black history all year round, is as a bridge from our past to our future. Black history serves to uplift us, and when I say us, I mean all peoples, increases self-esteem and self-awareness of accomplishments of our peoples that have benefited the whole world.
Yes, that's great. And I feel now our involvement, MCC has not in so many years, we've had little events, but we're so happy that you're with us this year as we began this endeavor to have month-long events. Can you tell me how important it is for a community college to be involved with Black history?
Well, it's vitally important, as the title says, community college, meaning that, once again, it's for all of us, all inclusive. And as it is an integral part of the community, for MCC to take a lead role in disseminating and generating programs is a powerful tool to help inform our community and help draw interest into not only the African American community, but all the other cultures that we interface with.
Yes, thank you. And as I said before, you're MCC alumni, Muskegon Heights alumni. I believe you were raised and also born in Muskegon. Were you raised and born here?
Well, I actually was not born in Muskegon. I was born in Dublin, Mississippi, but my dad brought myself and my sister here when I was 2 and she was 1. And I literally was raised here. This is all I know as my home. So I consider it my home, and I got such a great upbringing here in this community. It's fantastic.
So you are pretty familiar with the concept of the movie that we're showing on February 15th, Up from the Bottoms, because this movie actually talks about the search for the American dream and the migration of so many other African American families that came up from the South looking for a better life for themselves and their family. So you are part of that migration, aren't you?
Oh, yes, and I literally lived it, and I'm so glad they did a movie about it, because I used to talk with a lot of the elders, men and women, about how they got here. I was always been curious, why Muskegon, of all places you could have come to from the South? And they would tell me about their experiences, finding a house, living with other families until you get on your own, circumstances which they left either voluntarily or involuntarily from the South to come to the North.
Yes.
But it was always in search of a better life.
Yes.
Always.
And that's something that I believe is pretty much the summation of most of us, that we left the South, which had some riotous times and some upheaval times. I grew up in that era where, integration was not possible for later. We had segregation for a very long time. So I believe that you saw some of that as you were growing up, but in all of that, you were able to overcome those things that were working against you and become a successful teacher. Now, I believe, what did you teach?
Well, I taught language arts for years, science, biology. In the middle schools, I taught English, math. I've sort of done some of everything. 7 years, I was a an elementary school principal at 3 different schools. So I've got to see the whole gamut from high school, elementary, and middle school.
And so there's a love, I can hear that love, that passion for learning from you. And this is what it's about. This month, it is something that is given to us, so we try and power pack it with information and history that our young people are not getting in any history books. So when we talk about that, as we move forward in the future, what are some of the things that you would like to see us do for Black history?
Continue to bring out the everyday known facts, the Benjamin Bannekers, the Ida B. Wellses, the Martin Luther Kings, but there are so many other stories that we're not aware of accomplishments and contributions that African Americans made. I just this year became aware that a Black man was the literal inventor of the cell phone.
Yes.
And so those kind of things keep us aware and once again build pride. And I have to say, on an ironic note, that I first learned about Black history in my freshman year in college from a white professor. I was his assistant, and he gave a lecture during class about it. And after it was over, I came to him with my mouth hanging open, saying, "Is this true? Are these things you?" And he said, "Yes." And from then, I just was on fire to find out more about our people.
Yes, more and more. And I was just reading the other day, as a matter of fact, PBS, I believe, had a documentary on Misty Copeland, who was one of the first prominent dancers in the American Ballet Company. And those young people need to know this. I mean,
Yes.
anything is possible. Anything is possible. So that's why we have this passion to share this information with them, because out of the roots of having nothing, we have been so fortunate to have a lot of background to fall back on, haven't we?
Yes, and I also think that the other aspect of Black history, as we illuminate different accomplishments, help all peoples to recognize the diversity of the fields of endeavor that we're in. We tend to concentrate on entertainment and athletics, but we're in science, we're in arts, we're in inventions of technological advances, all of those things. So it just paints a more complete picture of who we are.
Yes, and what better place for our students to start? They can start right here at home, not pay a lot, because a lot of the young people may not be ready to go away from home for 4 years. So they can start right here and get a very good education, 2 years, and transfer to some of the most prominent 4-year universities right here in your own backyard. And that's what the community college is about. Do you agree with that?
I agree, and I'm somewhat prejudiced, but just looking at the facts, and if people do their research, they'll see that MCC is one of the most outstanding community colleges in the nation.
Yes.
And offers a very, very great educational package at a very competitive financial rate.
Yes, and so it really doesn't hurt your pocket too bad. Now, I just want to touch on this because time is really going really fast. And I tell you, you have worked, we are looking at some of the pioneers in our community. And I believe that you worked with one of the greatest women that would wake us up every Sunday morning.
Yes.
And her name was Mother Mattie Davis.
Yes.
You remember her?
Oh yes, I worked closely with Mattie for many, many years. She literally took me under her wing after she started working with our church mail course, the Morning Star mail course, and we would come in maybe once a month to supplement her Heavenly Echoes and other people. And then she just sort of like pulled me out of the group and said, well, help me. I want you to do a couple of announcements. And then I got to the point where I was doing it every week. And it's such an amazing thing. I didn't realize, I know when I woke up as a child, I heard her on the radio, not really realizing how unique that was. Not only a radio program of her own, but a black woman as the mistress of ceremony on top of that. And I got to see some of the original contracts she signed with WMUS. The first program was only 15 minutes long, and by the time it was done, it was an hour long. She never missed a Sunday literally in 50 years until she had a bad fall, and then she missed that Sunday. But every Sunday for 50 years, she was there at that station, and she had many other obligations. She worked in her own church diocese, and she was a state representative and choir director, plus having her own singing group, all of those things, and she was there. And we knew that we could get the news about what was happening at what church today, and also 4 or 5 pastors, prominent pastors in the community, were sort of mentored by her. They came to her literally saying, I believe I've been called, and she would help them through the process. So I have not worked with a more charismatic, informed, and godly person in my life. And I thank God every day for the influence and allowing me to have the chance to work with her.
Yes, and I believe, boy, this time is just going really fast, but we want to certainly start writing down and remembering those pioneers, because, you know, you don't hear that now. Get
Yes.
up, dress yourself, get ready. And that did something for me every Sunday morning. So I started doing that with my children when they were young. You know, now with my grandchildren, I say, get up. Time to get up and give God the glory. There's a song that get up and give, and so they think it's funny on Sunday morning that Granny sings that song, not like Mother Davis did, but I tell them, get up, you know. So again, we thank you for coming and sharing with us, and wish we had more time, but we certainly want to thank you for your involvement with the committee. Their presence, it's good to tell people while they can hear it. Your presence made an impact on a lot of the young people that were in the choir. They've told me how awesome it was to work with Mr. Watson. And some of them said, wow, he can sing. And so we're looking for new members, and we'll let you know more about that. But if you want to hear Mr. Watson, hear the choir, we will be performing again on February 25. Not as many songs, but we will be at the Love in Action. Before we go, let's tell them a little bit about February 15 coming up Monday. That's Up from the Bottoms.
Yes.
The Search for the American Dream. This movie is about Muskegon and those people that came up from the South looking for a better life. So we will have James Martin, who did the research and interviewed the local people. We will have Jim Swab here, Grand Valley State University professor. He will be here along with James to answer the questions. So if you want to know more about our events, visit us at muskegoncc.edu/CE. Click on Community and Business, and there's a whole lineup. You may send your comments to me. I want to hear from you. Mary.Williams@muskegoncc.edu, or call me at 231-777-0348. I look forward to talking to you again real soon. Any parting words, Mr. Watson?
Just stay positive, follow God, and believe in yourself.
Thank you. Words from a very wise man. Take it from us. There is much to learn about who you are, where you came from, and where you're going. We'll see you again next time. Bye now.